If you're a student pilot that's struggling with understanding and flying the traffic pattern, this video is for you. First, we need to understand differences between a standard versus a non-standard traffic pattern. Standard traffic patterns is when all turns are made to the left, whereas a non-standard traffic pattern, all turns are made out to the right. For uncontrolled airports, the traffic pattern will be depicted out in the chart supplements, and more often than not, controlled airports, it'll also be depicted in the chart supplements unless ATC tells you otherwise. Understanding the legs in the traffic pattern is crucial as we need to make out our calls, especially in uncontrolled airports. When we're taking the runway and we are already rotated, that leg is called a departure leg, also known as the upwind. So for this example, we'll assume that everything's standard traffic pattern. When we make that 90-degree left turn, that leg is known as the crosswind. And then we'll make our next 90-degree left turn, where we are flying opposite direction of the departed runway. This is known as the downwind leg. And then when we make our next left turn, this is known as the base. And then once we're lined up with the runway on that last 90-degree left turn, this is known as final. Traffic pattern altitude is usually 1,000 feet, and for turbines, usually 1,500 feet. However, certain airports will depict specific traffic pattern altitudes for specific aircrafts and operations in the chart supplements. A quick math to know what the traffic pattern altitude is: always grab the field elevation and add an additional 1,000 feet to that. And then we round to the nearest 100. An airport is crucial in understanding on how to do this properly, correctly, and safely. Before entering the traffic pattern, we always want to be at traffic pattern altitude before entering the downwind. So when we're set up on that 45 to the downwind, we need to be at traffic pattern altitude. Now there are two ways to enter the traffic pattern altitude. The first way is to do a direct 45 midfield to the downwind entry, and then the other way is to overfly the airport, do either a right teardrop or left teardrop entry, or enter directly on that left or right downwind midfield. Now, one thing to note when overflying the airport, we want to overfly by a minimum of 500 feet above the traffic pattern altitude. Now, certain airports might have depicted different traffic pattern altitudes for certain aircrafts. We always want to overfly the airport at the highest depicted traffic pattern altitude. Exiting the airport, we have two options. We can either depart straight out on the departure or upwind leg, or do a 45 departure in the downwind. Remember to always keep your head on a swivel, keep that vision scanning, and be aware of all incoming and outgoing traffic. For more in-flight and ground tips, drop a follow, save this video for your next flight.